Welcome back to the Zelterzerkt circuit here at Kegums. It's round 11 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. This is the MXGP of Latvia. And we are about an hour's drive southeast of the capital, Riga. And this sand circuit always proves to be one of the most challenging circuits on the calendar just because of the sandy nature. It's quite hard and firm and choppy underneath. But when you add in a little bit of rain as well, as we had Friday and overnight Saturday, then of course it's a little bit softer, and that also adds to the mix. We've got a fantastic track crew here though. And right now, the circuit, probably the best it's looked all day. MX2 Race 2 is just a moment away. And when you think of where we were at the start of the weekend, Andrea Adamo arrived here on his Red Bull KTM with a 3-point lead ahead of Simon Längenfelder, with Längenfelder winning the qualifying race on Saturday and Adamo failing to score points with his 11th place finish. That meant heading into race 1, Adamo was now 7 points behind Längenfelder. And after race 1, and we'll see the highlights in a moment, Längenfelder now 19 points clear. So far, so good for the German, who lost his red plate a week ago at his home Grand Prix in Germany. He's looking back to take it back, and take it back with a vengeance here today in Latvia. You can hear the riders out on their sighting lap ahead of MX2 Race 2. And it was a bit of a slow burner, but there was a lot going on as well, all up and down the field. The racetrack, 1,750 meters long. The usual 4 intermediate sectors as well. Slight change between turns 3, 4, and 5 in that configuration. Other than that, as you were, business as usual here in Latvia. And there's been a great atmosphere here all day as well, and all weekend actually. Start straight there, perfect view, 95 meters down into that first turn. But before we go anywhere, let's take a look at the highlights from that first race, shall we? The first MX2 race then got underway, and it was from the middle of the gate. Number 19, Sacha Coenen, with his 8th foxhole shot of the campaign. Simon Längenfelder, your championship leader, tried to go with him, and you'll see how soft it was in places on this racetrack. But it was Coenen who led the way. Längenfelder second, Everts third, Valan the Kawasaki fourth, De Wolf in 5th place. Oriol Oliver had a good start, but then he fell down to 8th on the opening lap. Carlos Rachalis, the home rider on the 47, he moved up into 5th place early on and stayed there for almost the entirety of the race as Kai De Wolf sampled the dirt on more than one occasion. He eventually came home in 8th place. That was Adamo, centre of your screen, tipping over as he had another difficult race. Adamo would eventually come home in 11th. De Wolf would fall again later on, down to 8th place, despite finding his way past Quentin Prunier on the WZ Racing KTM here on the 319. Final lap, the home rider got passed by Camden McClellan, who started outside of the top 10 to carve his way back to 5th. But it was Sacha Coenen who went on to win for the 2nd time this year from Längenfelder, Everts, Valan and McClellan. Anyway, a few moments ago, Lisa Lehnen was down on the grid. She caught up with Simon Längenfelder, a rider who has extended his lead at the top of the championship. Before that, Quentin Prunier, who came home in 10th place.
We're almost ready for the penultimate race of the day, but let's speak to WZ Racing's Quentin Prunier, who had quite a good showing in that first race. You got a rare good start, which was brilliant. You're hovering around P6 for quite some time. You dropped down to 10th, but honestly, that was a good race for you.
Yeah, actually the rhythm was quite alright. I had a good start finally. Pretty solid the first 15 minutes until I was keep trying until the last 5 minutes, you know, but I just lost a bit of rhythm at the end, you know, when the guys started to pass and stuff. But yeah, I was just pushing hard all the moto, you know, just giving my best, and yeah, finished with the top 10, which is solid. I wanted obviously a bit more, but compared to yesterday and the last 2 GPs, I'm gonna take it and, you know, just try to give the maximum in both motos and just finish it, just go till the end, give it all, and we see what's gonna happen at the end, you know.
Okay, since your first race, we've had sunshine, we've had more rain, we've had sunshine again. How is the track different compared to that first race this morning?
Actually, I don't know. I haven't seen the track yet. Compared to this morning, the track, there's more of a hard part. Obviously they ripped the track, so it was pretty soft, many soft spots, you know, so that was the difficulty of the moto, you know, just trying to get some traction out of the corner and, you know, just going out good, because obviously everybody here have really good bikes and stuff, you know, so you have to fight to, you know, to keep up with everyone and stuff. And yeah, track stuff for everyone is the same difficulties for everyone, so just try to give the best, have the best lines and stuff, and, you know, we just give it all till the end.
Okay. Have a good race. Thank you. Let's grab a few words now with Red Bull KTM Factory MX2 rider Simon Längenfelder. Simon, in that first race, you were P2. Couldn't make that pass in the end, but honestly, a massive point swing in your favour in terms of your championship fight.
Yeah, I had a good start, but couldn't turn in the first corner. I don't know what happened. And then Sacha was in front, so he was quite quick in the first few laps. So he made a bit of a gap, but in the end I found a nice rhythm and I could close the gap, but unfortunately couldn't make the pass. I saw that the others didn't, weren't out front, so yeah, that's good for the championship, but I'm looking more on the race.
Okay. Like you said, you got a good start, but where is the best place to start and why at this track?
Yeah, here, because we're just like 22 riders, the most inside gates are the best because they usually close, like today they close 7 inside gates, so if you go to the 8th gate, it's usually the best choice, and yeah, I guess I'll go there.
Okay, have a good race. Thank you, Simon. Okay, good luck to all the guys. It's time for MX2 Race 2.
Yeah, coming into this second race, take a look at the potentials for the overall podium. Of course, Sacha Coenen, Simon Längenfelder, Liam Everts, Mattis Ballan, Camden McClellan putting themselves in a great position for that. Let's take a look at the calendar, though, first of all. Here we are, then, second half of the season. From Latvia this weekend, we have a weekend off. We're just at the end of 3 in a row now, France, Germany, and here in Latvia. We have a weekend off, we go to Matterley Base, and then we've got a couple of weekends off before we head to Finland. Another week off after that before we go to the Czech Republic, and then after that, it's pretty much full gas right the way through to the final round in Australia, the MXGP of Australia at Darwin. Week off, and then we head to the Monster Energy FI Motocross Nations at Ironman, Crawfordsville. So it's pretty busy, as we said. When you think of the podium, implications this weekend, of course, Sacha Coenen, Simon Längenfelder, Liam Everts, Mattis Ballan, Camden McClellan, they all have a great shot, the first 5. After that, Carlos Rachlis, Thibaut Beniston, they also have a slender opportunity, so too does Kai de Wolf. Here's how the riders line up. But in terms of riders who have been on the podium in this MX2 class of 2025, Kai de Wolf and Sacha Coenen, they've both stood on the top step, 23 and 24 respectively. And Simon Längenfelder was on the podium last year, 3rd overall, as was Thibaut Beniston in 2023. They're the only 4 riders in MX2 that have stood on the podium in this class here at the Zelterzergs. Look how much different that start straight looks ahead of race 2. Sacha Coenen grabbed his 8th foxhole shot and his 2nd race win in the first race. Can he do the same again? Can he go back-to-back wins and take the overall victory? It'll be his 4th podium of the season, but it'll be his 1st win as well. Simon Längenfelder started the weekend 3 points down on Andrea Adamo. He goes into race 2, 19 clear of the Italian. And Liam Everts eyeing up a podium. Hasn't been on the podium since his 2nd overall, round 6 in Switzerland. Of course, this is round 11. So another good solid start for the Nastan Husqvarna rider. We'll see him there. Kai de Wolf, it's been a very up and down mixed weekend for the former red plate holder and defending champion. 8th in race 1. He'll be looking to salvage as much as he can from race 2. And if that is 25 points in a race win, then so be it. Anything to claw back some vital points to keep himself in the championship. Not that he's out of it by any means, of course, but he is 23 points off of Adamo in that 3rd place. The Fly Racing 15-second board up for the final time this weekend, MX2 Race 2, 30 minutes plus 2 laps. This is the MXGP of Latvia at the Zelterzergs circuit, just outside of Kegums. It's a 95-metre stretch down into that first turn. It's a tight 180 right. Who will it that gets the perfect jump? Längenfelder on the left-hand side, but coming in hot. Guillaume Ferrer's on the Triumph. Sacha Coenen trying to go with him. May have been Längenfelder who snuck up the inside as Coenen just fluffed his lines on the run into that first turn. Beniston there in 2nd. But it's two KTMs who lead the way. Längenfelder, Coenen, Beniston third. Ferrez trying to nip up the inside in fourth. Everts in fifth on the 26, and Volk in there as well, moving quickly into fifth and then just making a slight error, dropping back to sixth through the first couple of corners. De Wolf a few positions further back in around ninth. He's got Adamo with him as well. Over the line for the first time then. Längenfelder, Coenen, Beniston, Ferrez 4, Everts 5, Volk, Oliver, McClellan, De Wolf and Raceless. Adamo in 11th position. There he was, bottom of the screen, just getting through that left turn, turn 8. Look how much drier the racetrack is this time around. Hopefully the track crews have been able to open up the racetrack a little bit more as well, just to give the riders something else to get their teeth into, to create those passing opportunities. Faced with difficult conditions over the course of the weekend once again, but the second half of the afternoon, things looking a lot better. There's Adamo nipping up the inside of Valin for 12th. Längenfelder is who leads though. About a second between him and your race one winner. If it stays like that, of course, Längenfelder takes the overall. They will share the points. But in the event of a tie, as always, the result in the second race is what decides it. Over on the far side there, one of the KTM riders getting duffed up. Was it Volk? I think it may have been, yes, by both the Nastan Husqvarnas as Everts and De Wolf came charging through over on that back hill. In fact, it might have been Oliver that got duffed up. It was. So Everts up to 5, De Wolf 6, Oliver 7. And De Wolf having a look at his teammate down the inside. Doesn't quite find his way through, and Everts will have the inside in the next turn as the battle for the lead here. A little bit front end heavy for Sacha Coenen as he drops over that liquid molly jump. Längenfelder continues to lead for now. But it was Sacha Coenen just with the fastest lap. Beniston third, Ferrez fourth. De Wolf did sneak through in the end, maybe on the run towards the finish line area. So De Wolf now up in the 5th place. Thibaut Beniston, who was 7th in race 1. Oh, latter, his weekend going from bad to worse. Didn't finish in race 1. Has to retire from race 2. 0 points on the board for the Honda HRC rider this weekend. Didn't score in the qualifying race either. So outside of the top 10 on Saturday. But look at Beniston eyeing up 2nd place, looking for a move on Sacha Coenen. Meanwhile, De Wolf trying to find his way down the inside of Ferrez for 4, just behind these two. Ferrez hanging on for now on that Monster Energy Triumph in the turquoise green looking top, aquamarine. Oh, heavy landing, just a little bit off the race line there. Gives you an idea how soft it is off the race line with all the rain that we had. Ferrez in race 1, 9th. He'll be enjoying his time up here at the sharper end of the field. Your winner from race 2 a week ago in Germany. And a visitor to the podium in MX2 for the first time with 2nd overall last time out. But for the Spaniard, that already seeming like a distant memory as he focuses on the latest stage, round 11 here in Latvia. Right, De Wolf looking a lot more up for it in this 2nd race. Swings to the outside of the Spaniard, lets him know that he's there, tries to carry more momentum. He'd have been disappointed with his 8th place finish in the 1st race, trying everything he can to get alongside the Triumph, who will have the advantage around this outside over the Dragon's back, and he does. The Wolf seat bounces his way up onto the plateau. Again, carries that momentum around the outside. wheelies his way towards the step down, carries more momentum, soaking it up, scrubbing his way through the waves. He's alongside the Spaniard. He's got a lot of work to do here, but this is for 4th place. He does just about get through there, but then Perez had the inside line, forced his way through, and maintains that 4th place position. Great stuff that from Perez. De Wolf has to go looking once more. So with 24 minutes plus 2 to go, Längenfelder and Coenen lead the way. Beniston third, but what a fantastic battle this is between Perez and De Wolf as they dispute 4th. Watch this here a moment ago. Perez down the inside, De Wolf. They almost came together here as De Wolf went through. Somehow Perez stayed up. De Wolf now up in the 4th place. So on to the end of lap 3 here. And De Wolf now can see 2nd and 3rd ahead of him, Sacha Coenen and Thibaut Beniston. Simon Längenfelder, 2.7 seconds clear. De Wolf fastest this time around though, 2:02 exactly in terms of the lap times for him. 2:03 was the fastest lap in race 1, so we'll get the Acerbis fastest lap in race 2. This was De Wolf on Everts on the opening lap as he moved up into 5th. And then he found his way past Perez, but Perez managed to stay there until this moment, just a few moments ago. Oh, Perez, tell you what, if De Wolf was half a second later getting on the gas coming out of that right-hander, those two would have gone down in a heap and there would have been scrap metal parked at the side of the racetrack. But if buts, maybes and all the rest of it, that wasn't the case, it wasn't the scenario. De Wolf did find his way by, did take the fastest lap for now, and he now has Thibaut Beniston right there in front of him, and he must surely fancy his chances now for a victory in race 2, which is what we said at the start of the race. If a race win is all he can salvage from race 2, of course, that'll be more points on everybody. Längenfelder's not going to make it easy, neither is Sacha Coenen. Thibaut Beniston right there as they go down past pit lane, over the hill into turn 3, and it looks like De Wolf all over the back of Beniston. Meanwhile, Oliver is there, there's McClellan, these two just a little bit further back. Oh, De Wolf chucks it down the inside of Thibaut, the Frenchman who hangs on to that 3rd place for now. Will there be another fastest lap of the race this time around? Yes, Längenfelder, and then immediately Sacha Coenen, 2:01.467. De Wolf this time at 2:03.6. Clearly with a lot of work to do. 6.5 seconds down on Längenfelder at the moment in that 4th place. 1.9 behind Beniston. Been a good response from the Frenchman on that Monster Energy Yamaha. Just the other side of the jump. Such a nice fluid riding style, but just not made it easy for himself this weekend. Adamo has just moved into 11th. He's found his way past the JM Honda of David Braceras, Volkin 13th, Grove 14th, then Prunier, Mikola, Smulders up to 17th, finding his way past Smith, who drops to 18th, Tolsma and Olsen rounding out the points in 20th place. Here's Everts. Everts in 6th place on that 26, the Stan Husqvarna. The podium is very tight, just as it was a week ago. Längenfelder and Coenen tied on points at the moment, 47. Everts on 35, Beniston 34, De Wolf on 31. Not a lot of room for manoeuvre if you're eyeing up that third step of the podium. Down past pit lane then for the 5th time. So Längenfelder continues to lead. Coenen there 2nd, 3rd Beniston, 4th De Wolf, Perez 5th, Everts 6th. That's him on screen now, the number 26. Guillaume Perez, number 99, Monster Energy Triumph, losing contact with the number 1 of Kai De Wolf as he goes back after the Frenchman Thibaut Beniston. The cheers out on the racetrack are for the number 47, Carlos Rachalis, the Latvian rider who held on to 5th until the last lap when Captain McClellan came past him in race 1. But look at De Wolf, again, rapid through this part of the racetrack. No way through this time around either. Goes long, look how he jumps onto the downside of one of those holes that has formed the other side of the landing zone. Always maintain that drive on the rear wheel when you come into land with that part of the racetrack, if you can do that. Otherwise you land in the hole, then you take off again. No wheels on the ground means you're not propelling yourself forward as quickly as you could be if your wheels are on the ground. Rachalis and Oliver, so the Yamaha and the KTM. These two fighting over 7th position at the moment, and De Wolf has found his way past Beniston now as he moves into 3rd. On to the next. Clear track, that's exactly what he's going to focus on, De Wolf. The gap between him and Coenen, though, about 3 seconds. He's only about 4.7 behind Längenfelder, the race leader. And usually, with 17 minutes plus 2 laps, in these kind of conditions, Kai De Wolf, you would expect to whittle down that gap, challenge Längenfelder for the lead, and therefore the race win. But this is 2025, hasn't exactly gone to plan for Kai De Wolf in the last couple of 3 races, has it? Heavy landing there, but he's able to cut back to the inside as Beniston misread the situation, thought De Wolf was to the outside. De Wolf faked, went back to the inside to take that 3rd place away and set the fastest lap in the process. So those fast laps continue to come tumbling down. De Wolf with another Acerbis fastest lap at the moment, 2:01.420. And he's hunting down Sacha Coenen, the gap 2.6. And it continues to fall. We'll get another split just before the takeoff of the city jump in a moment. Take another look at the start, shall we? It was pretty frantic, as always. Sacha Coenen, 2 from the box, over in the middle to our left. He tried to get in, but as he comes in, he just rushes. Look, he runs wide. Perez with his feet off the pegs. Beniston bounces off of Coenen as they fought over 2nd and 3rd place, but it was Längenfelder with the foxhole shot. Watch here, Perez on the 99. He loses his footing around about now. Längenfelder just though. Crossing the stripe first. Here is Längenfelder, 2 seconds clear of Sacha Coenen at the moment as he continues to lead. And with Adamo buried in 11th place, he's opening up a massive advantage over the Italian as De Wolf is closing in on Adamo, 2nd in the championship chase. We'll worry about all the mathematical implications in a moment, but 13 points between Adamo and De Wolf in that fight for 2nd. Here's Oliver, the 51, with McClellan just ahead of him now. McClellan in 8th, Rachalis in 7th. Another fight through the field. This is for the number 8, Captain McClellan on the Monster Energy Triumph. But with just under 15 minutes plus 2 to go, put the flag out now. Simon Längenfelder will stand on the top step of the podium from Sacha Coenen and Liam Everts. The Monster Energy triumph of Cameron McClellan. Starts haven't been his friend this weekend. Fighting through the pack once more. Got up to 5th with a pass on raceless in race 1 on the final lap. Here we are with 14 minutes plus 2 to go, and he's got the Latvian in his sights once more on the Monster Energy Yamaha in red. This is going to be for 7th place if he can find his way past the number 47. The outside working a lot better than it did in race 1. Just behind the number 8, we have Oriol Oliver on the Gabriel SS24 KTM. And Valant just behind them, about another 2 seconds further back for Kawasaki Racing Team. And McClellan charging down, but not able to find his way through. Racialist hangs on for now. Nervous look over the shoulder. He realises he was in trouble. McClellan gets better drive, but then runs wide. It's going to be a drag race down to turn 2. This pass is not done yet, but McClellan controls the inside and hangs on to that 7th place. McClellan with clear track once more then, as Längenfelder now sets the fastest lap of the race, 2:01.060. As he extends his lead over Sacha Coenen now to 3.7 seconds. De Wolf gaining another 3 or 4 tenths. He's 1.5 behind the Belgian. McClellan going looking. Looks across, see what's going on over there to his right. Eight laps complete, we move into lap 9. Längenfelder extending his lead to 3.4 seconds over Sacha Coenen. Längenfelder just setting the fastest lap of the race that time around with a 2:01.06, a 2:02.5 for Coenen. De Wolf getting closer though, or he was a moment ago. It was 1.5, now it's out to 2, but again you can see Sacha Coenen just ahead of him around the turn on that number 19 Red Bull KTM. How hard is De Wolf having to work here for this podium? He's off the podium steps at the moment, 4th overall with 33 points. If he finds his way past Coenen, he will move to 3rd. His teammate will get bumped to 4th, Liam Everts. So still a long way to go, just under 12 minutes plus 2 laps here, this Latvian Grand Prix, the MXGP of Latvia at the Zelterzerg circuit, just outside of Kegums. Beautiful part of the world if you've never been here, by the way. Other than the heavy conditions, there's no excuse for these bikes to be running poorly, because we are not at altitude this weekend, very much at sea level. Kai de Wolf taking his time, isn't he, to work his way to the front. Längenfelder and Coenen making it very difficult for him, as you can see. Längenfelder heading to the line, 9 laps complete now. It's a 2:01.8 for him. Sacha Coenen responds with the fastest lap of the race, though. We are talking little bits here and there, aren't we? De Wolf with his best lap, and that was 6 tenths quicker than Längenfelder, the race leader as well. So 2nd and 3rd place riders now pushing on towards Längenfelder, although the gap's still hovering around 3 seconds as Adamo comes into land on the number 80. Remember, he started the weekend with a 3-point advantage as the championship leader over Längenfelder. He's going to lose more ground to the German here today. And Adamo in 11th. The rider in green ahead of him on the Kawasaki is Mathis Valant. He's in 10th. Oliver has found his way past Racialist as he moves into 8th place. So Racialist now in 9th. And that's Racialist dropping down just ahead of these two. Adamo looking to find good traction at the rear wheel, is alongside the Frenchman, who's putting up a good fight here. Lets the Italian have it in the end, though, in the next right-hander in a turn 12. Adamo now up in the 10th. Meanwhile, Sacha Coenen can no longer afford a comfortable time gap between himself and Kai de Wolf. The Husqvarna rider, the defending champion, #1. All over the back of the Belgian now. Nice, sweeping move through turn 2 at the end of pit lane for the rider on the white machine. Längenfelder, your race leader, already heading back in the opposite direction. Sacha Coenen, the overall Grand Prix winner here last year. Oh! How close was de Wolf going to crashing there? Back end stepped out, got the wrong side of the track limits, and catches a hole in the side of the track. Watch this. There. Oh. Cost him a little bit of time. But undeterred, he goes back after Coenen. It has not been the easiest sand race for de Wolf this weekend. Simon Längenfelder, it's almost as if the German Grand Prix came too soon for him as the leader of the championship with the red plate, heading home for the first time with that leader's red plate to his home Grand Prix. But this weekend, he's taken the bull by the horns, hasn't he? And relishing the fact that he's in red. Racialists and Adamo here, these two fighting over 9th place. Adamo fighting for his championship life here at the moment, number 80. Losing contact with Längenfelder at the top of the standings, and at the same time getting caught by de Wolf. Can't afford to lose more positions, more points. Gets good drive through here, so too does the number 47, the Racialists. Oh, tries that inside move, back end just swaps to his right, ever so slightly. Looking to run it down the inside of the Latvian. Oh, tried to run him wide as well, didn't he, on the exit, but not able to. He's going to have to cut back here, back onto the start straight. That's exactly how he lost a position to McClellan, and he loses a position to Adamo, although the Italian was a little bit more forceful on his way through into that 9th place. Right. Oh, Coenen. Slight mistake there. Looks back over his shoulder. Sees de Wolf right there again. Time ticking away. Time running out for de Wolf if he wants to win this race as well. 5.5 seconds behind the leader, Simon Längenfelder. Stays as it is. De Wolf finishes 4th. Everts finishes 3rd overall. Everts all over the back of Perez. So two things can happen here. De Wolf can move into 2nd and stay there. But if Everts finds his way past the Spaniard on the Triumph, then of course he should stay on the podium as well with that extra point difference. Here is Everts in white, the Husqvarna rider, 26, sandwiched between the two Monster Energy Triumphs. And whilst Everts is going after Perez, look how hard Captain McClellan is charging once again, just as he did in race 1, from outside of the top 12 to get to 5th. By the time the checkered flag fell, he's doing the same again here, goes around the outside. Look at the lines he's using, the momentum that he carries over that jump. Alongside Everts, Everts will keep him to his outside. McClellan tries to fight back with a creative line all of his own. These three riders fighting over 5th place. Everts 6th on the 26, holding a tight line as McClellan chases the dirt around the outside. Probably loses a couple of bike lengths there as well. Längenfelder at the head of the field, 3.6, 4.3 seconds clear now of Sacha Coenen. De Wolf third, still not able to find his way through. Here he is, 1.5 seconds behind Sacha Coenen. And when you look at the difference in riders, De Wolf tall and rangy, a little bit heavier. Sacha Coenen power to weight ratio, keeping him out of trouble, keeping him in that second place. 4 minutes to go. De Wolf continues to push on here. Every time he gets close, Sacha Coenen responds. And it's either a mistake or just a little bit of harder riding from the number 19. Who's eyeing up the podium once again for his third consecutive visit to the box. 2/3 in a second it will be for the number 19 from the last 3 rounds in this triple header that saw us start in France. We were in Germany a week ago, Latvia now. Wasn't clean through there though, the 19. De Wolf on the other hand, a little bit more efficient. I think there's a lot of people expected De Wolf to be up front, fighting for the Grand Prix victory this weekend. Hasn't made it easy for himself, has he? 6th in the qualifying race, 8th in race 1. Off of the podium as it stands right now as well, with this 3rd place where he currently resides in race 2. Not giving up though, is he? He knows every point is crucial. Wolf 6.1 seconds behind Simon Längenfelder now, the race leader, as he still tries to figure out a way to find a move that will work on Sacha Coenen. But look how different the racetrack is in race 2 compared to race 1. Yes, it's quicker, makes it a little bit more difficult to pass, but would you rather have this than what we had in race 1, where it's just one line and difficult to pass with the mud? I think you'd rather take this, wouldn't you? The racing's certainly a lot faster, a lot more intense. And the riders can move around the racetrack a little bit more than they did in race 1 as well. Still searching, De Wolf. De Wolf trying everything in the last couple of corners to get back on terms with Sacha Coenen. Looked like a right-left combination was going to work for him, but he's still searching for that move. Coenen hanging on here, but will there be a pass here at the end of the straight? Yes, there will. He just picks his front wheel up, gets out of the line, goes to the outside. And Sacha Coenen there, what was the hand gesture for? So Längenfelder leads, De Wolf now second, clear track between him and Längenfelder. Sacha Coenen not happy at the bottom of the hill. A moment ago. We'll get a replay of the pass in a moment. Längenfelder over the line, 14 laps complete. De Wolf was 6.2 seconds behind. He's now 6.8 seconds behind. 3 laps to go. Has he bitten off more than he can chew? Or is he going to get his teeth into Längenfelder before the end of this race is done? No excuses now. He has clear track. Meanwhile, Everts. As we look at the podium, De Wolf and Everts are tied. De Wolf and Everts are tied, 35 points. Everts, to get himself back onto that 3rd step of the podium, which his teammates just kicked him off of, needs to find his way past the number 99, Guillaume Perez. So far, Everts hasn't been able to do anything about the Monster Energy Triumph rider ahead of him. He's got 2.5 laps in which to do so, and if he does, he will be on the podium, 3rd overall. But just running out of options and ideas at the moment, the number 26, it seems. Is he waiting for a mistake from Fares, who currently sits there in 5th place ahead of him? There's his teammate McClellan, about 3 seconds further back in 7th position. But as the time ticks away, Längenfelder is being caught, or he was a moment ago. As we hit the 3rd sector, the gap was down to 5.7. It's now gone out to 6.9 again, as De Wolf has a bit of a mare in sector 3, 33.3, 34.6 respectively, your race leader and his pursuer. The 2-lap board going out to Simon Längenfelder, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. A 201.9 for him on his penultimate lap. De Wolf goes through a 202.7, and the gap going out to 7.7 seconds now. And now is the time where you say Längenfelder's race to lose, because De Wolf is not going to whittle down 7 seconds, nearly 8 seconds in the space of the final 2 laps. Sacha Coenen 3rd. Was he shaking out arm pump after De Wolf went by him? Is that what he's dealing with here? Either way, he's going to be 2nd overall, with a 1st in race 1, a 3rd here in race 2. Where's Adamo in all of this? 2.7 seconds behind Oriol Oliver, and lapping about a lap slower than the Spaniard as well. So this is De Wolf during the race, up the inside of his teammate to move into 5th. That was on lap 1. He went around the outside of Fares, as Fares just got offline. That was for 4th a couple of laps later on lap 3. Then he got up the inside of Sacha Coenen here to take over the lead. To take over that 2nd position. And that was just a lap ago on this part of the racetrack. He'll keep on pushing, but the gap growing between Längenfelder and De Wolf as we near the final lap of this MX2 race 2. There's Längenfelder on the infield right-hand sweep, just behind pit lane on the jump. Now, in the opposite corner to his right, that is your gap back to 2nd and 3rd. Thibaut Beniston here in 4th place. It's going to be 5th overall for the Monster Energy Yamaha man. What a massive swing of points in favour of Simon Längenfelder this weekend. Started the day 3 points, or started the weekend 3 points behind Adamo. He will leave here 32 points clear at the head of the field as we head to Matterley Basin in 2 weeks' time. Talk about bringing your A game to the 2nd half of the season and putting what happened a week ago, which wasn't bad, by the way, 5th overall, but maybe just not ready to lead the championship at home in Germany. Sacha Coenen is going to be 3rd in the race. He was a winner in race 1. He is going to be 2nd overall. His points in race 1, 25. His points in race 2, 20, which is where he gets his 45 points from. Kai de Wolf is going to be 3rd overall with an 8th in race 1, 13 points, 2nd in race 2, and Längenfelder off the side of the track. He had about a 7-second advantage. And Sacha Coenen goes through. Sacha Coenen's going to go 1-1 and win the Grand Prix. Or is he? No, he's going to go 1-2. Is de Wolf going to win the race? Längenfelder out of 1st place. Oh, he does go down. I wasn't sure if he saved it. But Längenfelder, final lap, out of 1st place. De Wolf will go through. He's a couple of corners away from taking the flag. He's going to win the race. Sacha Coenen's going to come home in second. Längenfelder is going to drop from first to third. And this will change the overall of the Grand Prix, surely. Sacha Coenen is going to take the top step with a win in a second. De Wolf will win race 2, but he was gifted that on the final lap. Sacha Coenen crossed the line in second, doesn't know that he's won the Grand Prix yet. Längenfelder disappointed, having thrown away the race and the overall Grand Prix victory on the final lap as he crosses the line in third. What a swing, what a way to round out MX2 race 2 at the Grand Prix here. De Wolf is going to be third overall, second for Längenfelder. And Sacha Coenen, back-to-back wins now here overall, 2024, now 2025. Sacha Coenen, your overall Grand Prix winner. And that is a gift of points as well. 5 points back for Adamo. Oh, talk about topsy-turvy. Right, let's take a look at things here then. 5-1-5. Watch this here. There's De Wolf. That's what it means to him to win the race, but he can celebrate like he's won a world championship, but he put himself right in the mix, didn't he? What a race win for De Wolf. De Wolf wins race 2 from Sacha Coenen, Simon Längenfelder. Beneston 4, Everts up to 5th on the final lap. But it wasn't enough in the end. Watch this here, Längenfelder cross-rutted through the waves. All he had to do was bring it home off the side of the track. He'll be absolutely livid with himself. A gift of 5 points to Adamo, 3 points to De Wolf. De Wolf wins the race, but it's Sacha Coenen who wins the Grand Prix, and here he is with Lisa.
Sacha Coenen, congratulations, your first overall of the season. All changed there on the final lap. How are you feeling, and is your hand okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling quite okay. Just in the start, I had a collision with the Triumph rider and hit my hand quite hard. So yeah, I couldn't push really whole motor. So I was just trying to survive a bit. But yeah, we win overall, back to back here. So we are really happy and looking forward to the rest of the season.
Okay, thanks, Sacha.
Sacha Coenen, from out of nowhere then, snatches victory from Simon Längenfelder, who fell on the final lap from first to third. De Wolf went on to win the race, Coenen second, and with his win in race 1, that's enough for him to win the Grand Prix. Back-to-back wins now, and his first win of the season. Give you the race results then, shall we? De Wolf wins race 2 from Sacha Coenen, Simon Längenfelder. Thibaut Beneston 4th, Everts 5, Guillaume Perez 6, Cameron McLellan 7, Oliver 8. Everts did make the move on Perez, but it was not enough to make the podium because De Wolf taking the win on the final lap. Adamo crossed the line in 9th, ahead of team Mattis Vallant, and then Carlos Reichlitz, Volk, Braceras, Gross, Smulders and Smith. But all the action was at the sharp end, wasn't it? De Wolf coming away with the win from Coenen. Längenfelder falling from first to third with 6-7 corners to go at the end of the wave section. That cost him the race win and the Grand Prix victories, cost him a few points in the championship as well, because he will now lead the championship by 27 points. Instead of the 32 that he was looking at before that fall. Sacha Coenen wins the overall, Längenfelder second, De Wolf third, Everts did find his way past Perez, but it still wasn't enough in the end, as De Wolf went on to win the race. Everts 4th overall. Beniston picking up the top 5 here this weekend from McClellan, Vallant and Perez. Race list 9 at home. Adamo, a disappointing 10th place. Only 22 points on the board for the Italian here today. 22 points for the weekend as well, by the way. Timon Längenfelder regains the championship leader's red plate, but what could have been a 32-point lead heading into a 1-week break is now just 27, having lost 5 points on that final lap when he fell from the race lead to 3rd. Adamo drops to 2nd, and De Wolf, look, 10 points down on Adamo now. At the start of the weekend, he was 28 behind Längenfelder and 31 off the lead. So some massive swings in points here in Latvia today.
We just do one pair.
Take a look at the manufacturer's standings. Triumph move up to 4th at the expense of Honda, who've had a terrible time this weekend. No points on the board for Valerio Latta in all 3 races. Although he did finish the qualifying race, but just no points on the board. And of course, with the injured and absent Ferruccio Zanchi, Triumph taking full advantage as they head to their home Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time at Matterley Basin for the British manufacturer. Take a look at the foxhole shots. Right at the start of the race. Race 1 was Sacha Coenen. Race 2. Oh, was it Sacha Coenen again, or was it Längenfelder? There was a dive bomb, wasn't there? It was Längenfelder just, but he'll be bittersweet about the results here because he should have turned that into a 25-point haul. Coenen leads away in that classification, though. Get ourselves geared up for the podium then, shall we? For the MX2 category here, the Latvian Grand Prix. 3rd overall, De Wolf got himself on the podium in the closing stages of the race. The Nastan Husqvarna rider pleased with his podium. Back-to-back 3rds the last couple of rounds in Germany and now here in Latvia, but he does pick up that race win to get that 3rd overall. Timon Längenfelder, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, 2nd overall. Could have been a 1st, should have been a 1st. Will he be kicking himself over those 5 points when all is said and done come the end of the year? But back-to-back wins here in Latvia, Sacha Coenen. This year he goes 2-3. Sorry, this year Sacha Coenen goes 1-2. Last year it was a 3rd and a 1st, wasn't it? But Davide Di Carli with 2 of his boys on the podium there. 1st and 2nd. Doesn't get any better than that if you're a team owner. 3rd overall for the Nastan Husqvarna of De Wolf. 2nd overall to Timon Längenfelder, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, but it's his teammate Sacha Coenen who grabs the spoils of victory on the final lap to win back-to-back here in Latvia and take his 1st Grand Prix victory of the season. What a way for that race to play out in the final stages. The LAMSF president hands the team trophy to Davide Di Carli. They need a building just for the trophies, don't they, over the years? Antonio Alia Portela, the FIM CMS director, hands the championship leader's raid plate back to Timon Längenfelder. He took it in time for his home Grand Prix in Germany, left it there in Germany, or attached it to the front of Adamo's machine, takes it right back this weekend. But it's Coenen who will enjoy the national anthem of Belgium. second, third overall here this weekend. The two Red Bull KTM, Sacha Coenen and Simon Längenfelder. Kai de Wolf, third overall. We will talk to the top three in a moment. But let's take a look at the highlights from that second race, shall we? The second MX2 race under dry skies and a dry prepared racetrack as well. And it was Simon Längenfelder who just grabbed the foxhole shot ahead of Sacha Coenen, and he led the way down the pit lane straight into turn 2. Thibaut Beneston on the number 9 emerged in second, Coenen third, Kaz Volk in fourth, but Perez came by in the next turn. But as the race went on, the defending champion, number 1, up the inside of his teammate, Liam Evans, to move into 5th. He then got the better of Perez, or so he thought. Perez muscled him back out of the way for 4th, but eventually he got his opportunity again. Perez almost went down in the process as he got cross-rutted here. Could have taken them both out as well, but somehow Perez stayed up to survive until 6th. Beneston then did his best to stay there, but de Wolf moved by for 3rd on lap 6 of 17. De Wolf then found his way up the inside for 2nd with this pass on Sacha Coenen. And he was on the podium at that point. Simon Längenfelder had a 7.7 second advantage going into the final lap. He made this fall. He fell from the lead. He picked himself up in 3rd. De Wolf went on to win the race. Coenen 2nd, Längenfelder 3rd, and the win belonged to Sacha Coenen.
Sacha Coenen, massive congratulations. 2 good starts, 2 solid races. Nice to hold on to that race win in that first race and your first overall of the season. On the whole, it's been a good weekend for you.
Yeah, it feels really good to be back on the top step of the podium. Yeah, it was a good weekend, let's say. Started out good, just in the quali moto I had a little collision with my teammate, but yeah, it's like it is. We just finished the weekend here with a win, so we are really happy and we're looking forward to the rest of the season.
Okay, thank you. Second overall today, we have Simon Längenfelder. Simon, mixed emotions for you. You threw away that race win, you threw away the overall victory, but you do walk away from this weekend with a championship lead. How do you reflect on your weekend?
Yeah, it was good until it wasn't. I think I will never make this mistake again. At least I will try. But yeah, I was riding really good starts, good riding, speed was there, everything was there. But yeah, one mistake too much in that last lap. But yeah, still second, have the red plate, so it's good, but could be much better.
Thank you, Simon. Third overall today, we have Kai de Wolf. Kai, I guess a difficult weekend for you. You definitely seem more up for it in that second race. You were gifted that race win. How do you reflect on your weekend?
Yeah, struggled with a lot of pain still from last week. Tried to recover as best as I could. Wasn't good enough. The recovery wasn't fast enough. So yeah, it was a really tough weekend. Put myself in a tough position every time. Every time I crashed, got back on the right shoulder, hit it again. So it was a really tough weekend. But the second motor, we charged ourselves up and we gave it all. So we're not out of this fight. We keep fighting till the end. And I want to thank the team for sticking behind me, doing everything they can. So I'm really happy with this, and we keep working.
Okay. Thank you, Kai.
Kai de Wolf, third overall this weekend. Simon Längenfelder second. Sacha Coenen, your winner. Back more in a moment, or back from Latvia in a moment with MXGP Race 2. See you then.